Hey guys, we're here with it's an oil-fired Well-McLean hydronic boiler, and what I wanted to talk to you guys today was our zone valves. So our zone valve, this is a Honeywell zone valve. These are Honeywell zone valves. So we have four basic components on this thing. We have our body right here, and then we have the head. Now, part of the head is our motor. And this motor is what actually opens up the ball that's in here to allow the water to pass through, which gets circulated through the circulator. But then we also have this switch right here. Now, when there's a call for heat, this spring, the motor opens up, and that paddle will actually lower down onto that end switch. And when that end switch is pushed down, these red wires up here, the connection is made through that switch, and it sends power to, on this boiler, our aquastat, which then turns on the circulator and fires the boiler. If we only had one of these, you could just use a pump. You didn't have the circulator. You didn't have to have a zone valve. But you could also wire this directly to your primary control with the TT, and it would work just the same. The issue I was having, not with these are just examples, I had at another customer's house was I wasn't getting a signal sent to the boiler. So I knew that there was an end switch issue. But the problem with this end switch is that though the motor was working on the zone valve, it was depressing this end switch, is that this end switch actually needed to be pressed further into the switch, this little button here. The problem is that you could see on that paddle's flat. Take a look at it. There's nothing there. There's nothing on it, you know? So once that goes up against the end switch, once it hits the base of that end switch and it contacts this plastic, it can't depress this any more than the surface here. And that was the issue. When I would take my screwdriver and I would manually depress it, it actually went below this plastic. And that was the issue. Now, they do sell end switches. You can get replacements, just like you can get replacement motors. But this this installation of the zone valve was a little difficult. It was, for example, it was actually piped behind the flue back here, and it was in a closet. It was very tight. I ended up just replacing the head. That's what the customer wanted. I wasn't going to try to rip apart the zone valve to get to this end switch, specifically because I have to take the head off, disconnect the head itself. You have to remove the motor, and then you actually have to undo these two screws here. It's just a pain in the ass. So that's it. I hope if this can help someone in the future, if you're ever wondering why. If the end switch just went bad or if there was actually an issue. I might actually open up this end switch and see if there's a spring in here that went bad. Because, I mean, it feels normal right now, but it just wasn't making that connection. You know, you could see years and years and years of these things being pressed on and off, on and off, on and off, on and off. You could say that they could eventually wear out. But we'll have to see in the future. All right. Thanks, guys.